Hi, my name is Lauren Fitzgerald, and this is my teacher interview reflection. I interviewed a first grade teacher in a general education setting. First, I'd like to give you a little bit of background about the student that we are talking about. He is a 6-year-old boy. Unfortunately, he's a victim of trauma. His father died less than a year ago of a drug overdose, and his mother is not at all involved in his life. He is being raised by his paternal grandmother. He transferred to our school in late November. Prior to transferring, he participated in an intensive outpatient behavior program for 2 weeks. He is diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder, but is not being treated with any medications at this time. I first asked what behavioral issues the student has. The teacher lists several. 1, he is often inattentive during lessons. He'll refuse to do his work. He often destroys paper and materials, including his name tag, pencils, workbooks, and erasers. He'll make inappropriate noises during instruction. He'll say inappropriate words. He'll get out of his seat to walk around. And he talks to his peers during inappropriate times. I asked what strategies have been used to address these behaviors. The teacher will try ignoring the student. She'll give redirection. She'll remove items from his desk, especially those he's playing with or destroying. She'll allow him to take breaks. She has physically moved his seat away from the group, either by moving his desk or by having the student sit at a back table. I asked if she knew what triggers these behaviors, and she really wasn't sure. She knew that he was seeking attention from both peers and adults, but she said it happens throughout the entire day, so it wasn't just during reading or just during math. It happened in all subject areas. Also, she mentioned that it's not always when an assignment or work is present. I asked what some possible reinforcers for the behavior were, and she said definitely attention and laughter from peers encouraged the negative behaviors. I asked what has worked to lessen the behavior. She said that positive praise works the best for the student, and that all the previous listed strategies have worked, but inconsistently. I asked what does not work and why. She said that ignoring overall was not a good strategy. The student may or may not stop the behavior, but even if they stopped, he would begin again. And engaging in any kind of argumentative way resulted in the student getting angry and very defensive. I asked if these behaviors occur in certain settings, and she said that more often the behaviors occurred in whole group setting. The student did much better in a small group or one-to-one setting, which made sense since he liked attention from adults. I asked if any type of behavior plan has been developed for this student. The teacher had a positive minus chart, kind of like a time interval tool, that first was using to collect data. She would circle a plus sign if the student was behaving appropriately, and minus sign if the student was exhibiting any problem behaviors. She then turned that into a behavior plan where if the student at the end of the day had more positives than negatives, the student earned lunch with the counselor the following day. This behavior plan was implemented inconsistently for about 3 weeks and then stopped. Unfortunately, it was difficult to set up lunch with the counselor every day due to her unavailability. I asked if the parents are actively involved. Grandmother is very involved with the student in school. The teacher messages grandmother daily through Class Dojo. It's an app that allows messaging, and the teacher updates the grandmother about his progress each day. Grandmother also attends all parent conferences and meetings. I asked how the teacher thought the parents could get more involved to help change the behaviors. And she felt that grandmother could create a solid routine at home. And it would also be helpful if she maybe established some rewards and consequences based on the daily report that the teacher gives. That way it could be consistent from school to home. I asked what are the strategies used for the whole class for behavior management. The teacher uses positive praise often. She also has a caught being good display. She has a baseball mitt on a bulletin board, and then each student has their name on a baseball. When the teacher catches them doing the right thing, she'll put their baseball inside the glove. She also has a clip chart that looks like a stoplight. It is green, yellow, and red. All students start on green, and if they are not doing the right thing, they may be asked to clip to yellow or red. They may lose recess time or have a phone call home to their parents. After interviewing the teacher, I really thought about all the different types of consequences that we learned about this week. The first being positive reinforcement, where a student receives something for doing the right behavior. I felt like her positive praise and caught being good display fell under that category. There's also negative reinforcement, where something is taken away to reinforce positive behavior. I feel like when she allows the student to take a break, that falls under that category. Then there's positive punishment, where a student receives something after doing the negative behavior. And I feel like when the teacher reports to grandmother daily and it's a negative report, that would fall under positive punishment. Then there's negative punishment, where something is taken away from the student. And that would be the clip chart, where the students may lose recess time, or the removing of the items from the desk, or the moving of his seat. Then there's extinction. I felt like the ignoring fell under that category. If the teacher ignores the behavior long enough, the behavior would stop, especially since he's seeking attention. That doesn't seem to be working completely here. Thinking about the function of behavior, it's definitely seems to be attention based on the interview as well as the observation that I did this week. When coming up with a intervention plan, Oaten and Tuttle stated that it's important to have planned systematic reinforcement for the student when he or she exhibits the desired behaviors. I think that's why positive praise works best. It fits that function of attention. It gives the student adult attention while reinforcing the positive behaviors. It also makes sense that the student enjoyed that one-on-one attention, that lunch with the counselor. The positive minus chart was great as a data collection tool. It can definitely be used to keep data on the frequency of the behavior. It can also later be used to show if the behavior is improving with the interventions in place. Oaten and Tuttle state that it's impossible to make an objective and accurate judgment about whether the plan is working if ongoing consistent data are not available. So this positive negative chart is great for maintaining that data and continuing to collect information on the behavior. I feel like the major takeaway for me was that parent involvement is key. Open and consistent communication is important. This teacher talks to this grandmother on a daily basis, and I think that helps to keep the consistency from school to home. And again, establishing that follow-through at home based on the behavior plan. And here are my references, and thank you so much for listening.